Oh, how are you? We ready, Kevin? Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for coming. Our goal at Metro Council is to make Louisville a safer, stronger, and healthier city. And public safety is the top priority for us. The work of public safety takes several different forms, whether it's working to keep guns off of our streets, expanding the work that we're doing to prevent crimes from happening, expanding programs like group violence intervention, and investing more in programming for our youth. It also means implementing the more than 150 reforms in the recommendations from Hilliard Heinz to provide greater transparency, collaboration, and accountability. Because our goal is nothing less than making LMPD the best police department in America. To achieve that goal, we have to provide our officers with the things they need to do their incredibly difficult and important work, and do it at the highest level with transparency and the community's trust. That means it's our job to supply our police officers with the right kind of training, recruitment, resources, compensation, leadership, and facilities they need. Today, I'm thrilled to announce several major investments Metro government and our partners are making to provide greater support to the men and women of LMPD. Our first announcement is that a building has been purchased by the Louisville Police Foundation to create a new LMPD Wellness Center. This facility will provide space where police officers and staff can receive the physical and mental health support they need so they can continue to serve the people of Louisville. The LMPD Wellness Center will be located on President's Boulevard near Eastern Parkway. You can see the building design on the screens. We know this job takes a tremendous toll on the physical and mental health of officers and professional staff. That's why the center will feature state-of-the-art physical fitness equipment, recreation spaces, and men's and women's locker facilities. The LMPD Wellness Center will serve as a space where officers can seek mental health assistance. They'll be able to receive help from professionals who understand the unique challenges of police work. We know that our officers are human beings who put themselves in sometimes terrifying and traumatizing situations to help keep the rest of us safe. We need to respect that, and we need to give them the support they need to deal with the impacts of their work so they can keep doing the job that all of us in our community need them to do. I want to give a giant thanks to our partners with the Louisville Police Foundation and Impetus for a Better Louisville for coming up with the LMPD Wellness Center plan and for being with us here today. A special recognition to Rebecca Grignan-Rieker, the Executive Director of the Louisville Police Foundation, who was a driving force in making this happen. To everyone at the Louisville Metro Police Foundation, to Impetus for a Better Louisville, thank you all so much for partnering with us to make this an important reality for our officers and our entire community. Our hope is that this will be a benefit to our officers and help us with recruiting and retention as well. That is a huge priority for us right now. We have hundreds of openings to fill throughout LMPD, as well as in corrections, EMS, and the Louisville Metro Emergency Management Agency. That's why today I'm also announcing our plan to reinstate hiring and relocation bonuses for employees in each of these 4 critical departments. These bonuses had been in effect until the end of 2022 using American Rescue Plan funds. This proposal is pending a final vote from the full Metro Council on amendments which were approved by the Metro Council Budget Committee last week. That vote will allow our government to reinstate these recruitment bonuses immediately. We'll be able to pay these bonuses to recruits who join by December 31st, 2024. Adding more public safety professionals is essential to maintaining public safety. whether it's officers patrolling the streets to prevent crime, first responders going into an emergency situation, or corrections facilities having enough staff to keep those incarcerated and those working in the jail safe. These bonuses will help us bring in and hang on to more public safety employees. I want to thank our partners on Metro Council for their partnership in making this possible. One thing that complicates the recruiting pitch for police officers right now and impacts all of LMPD's operations is that LMPD does not have one centrally located base of operations. It's well documented that LMPD needs a building to serve as its permanent headquarters. An important reform suggestion has been to have one centralized LMPD headquarters. And since moving out of the outdated and rapidly deteriorating building on 6th Street, LMPD administration has been divided among different facilities. Moving into a central headquarters will streamline communication and make it easier to implement reforms. This will facilitate better communication and coordination among officers in different units. That's why today our third announcement is that Metro government will fast-track $14 million of American Rescue Plan funding towards the renovations needed at the former AT&T building and give LMPD a fully functional centralized headquarters as soon as possible. Metro government purchased the former AT&T building on Chestnut Street in 2021 for $6.8 million, and last year allocated $13 million towards this project, but that was only a portion of the funds that would be needed. This building has more than 190,000 square feet, and it needs a roof replacement, elevators to be renovated, HVAC upgrades, electrical issues need to be fixed, and more. We can and should go ahead and get those repairs started while the final plans for the new headquarters are being completed. Getting the new LMPD headquarters open sooner will benefit our entire community. It'll benefit our officers and the work of public safety as a whole. This funding will also be made available through the American Rescue Plan. We will likely need one final city investment to complete the project, but not at least for another year. And that brings me to my final announcement for today. We know that one of the biggest drivers of violent crime and homicides in our city is drugs and the illegal drug trade. We know there are people throughout our city who sometimes see drug activity happening in their neighborhood, but maybe it's not an emergency in that moment, so they're not sure if they should call 911 or somewhere else. So we've set up a new way that people can protect their community from drugs and the crime that often accompanies them. I'm announcing the creation of a new anonymous tip line. It's specifically for citizens to notify LMPD about concerns of narcotics in their neighborhood. The number is 502-574-2580. Again, this is an anonymous tip line. It's monitored by LMPD, and I encourage anyone worried that drugs are being sold in their neighborhood to call 574-2580. 574-2580. The numbers are a straight line right down the middle. This new option augments the general LMPD tip line of 574-LMPD, which has been an important tool for public safety for many years and isn't going away. In 2022 alone, we received nearly 3,000 tips via the phone and 3,400 tips via the online portal. So 574-LMPD is not going away. We're just giving the people of Louisville an additional option to help make our city safer. These four announcements here today are part of our plan to do everything we can with short and long-term solutions, with small and big steps forward to improve public safety in our community, to reduce the amount of violent crime in our community, to ensure we have enough police in our community to work with the community towards having a Louisville that is a safe neighborhood regardless of where you live. We'll take questions in a moment, but right now I first want to turn it over to our Interim Chief of Police, Jacqueline Gwynn Villaroel, to make a few comments. Chief?
Thank you. Good morning to the mayor, to our elected officials, to the media. Special thank you to the foundation here today and Impetus Group. Thank you for your support. And my hat goes off every day to the men and women of LMPD, your work and your dedication that keeps this city safe. I thank you. I want to just thank the mayor for his support as we move this department forward. I want to thank everyone in the community for seeing the good work that we're trying to do every day to make a difference, because our citizens deserve the best police department possible. And that is what you're going to get. And I'm super excited the direction that we're going for the citizens of Louisville. Thank you again. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. And one final speaker from LMPD to talk a little bit about the importance of the Wellness Center and what this means to LMPD and to our community, someone who has been very involved in planning this, Major Edelin. Major?
Hey, good morning, everybody. So obviously, we have very exciting news that the mayor and the chief just shared with everybody in the room. So I'm very excited, I'm amped up, I'm caffeinated, and I'm going to try to be structured, okay? So I'll do a little more reading than they do. But I am Brian Edelin, Major of LMPD's Performance Division. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I want to start my portion of this announcement by highlighting and recognizing, again, the great men and women who put on the uniform and badge every single day to go out and try to make a difference in this community. This announcement will show all of LMPD that we are loved, supported, and needed. For the last year and a half, LMPD has partnered with national leaders and groups, as well as local leaders and groups, to learn about best practices relating to constitutional policing and providing support for our officers and professional staff within. LMPD has been involved and utilized the Bureau of Justice Administration's Law Enforcement Knowledge Lab and has started year 2 of our public safety partnership with the Bureau of Justice Administration. The BJA has provided us a lot of technical assistance and support, internal staffing assessments and structure assessments, along with several site visits to other agencies to see some of those best practices. We have invested in this new Bureau of Accountability and Improvement, led by our Deputy Chief, Paul Humphrey. That new bureau is made up of the Training Division and the Performance Division, which I'm fortunate enough to be the commander of the Performance Division. Within that division, the thing that we're highlighting today for this new facility is our new wellness unit. In this unit, we have forward-thinking lieutenants, sergeants, and several officers and detectives from our peer support team that work in different areas across the entire department. We will hire a full-time psychologist, 2 full-time mental health counselors, and a full-time chaplain has already been hired on staff. Together in the wellness unit, we have read and studied President Obama's 21st Century Policing Report, President Trump's Presidential Commission on Law Enforcement, President Biden's signed executive order to advance effective and accountable policing. Now, there's one thing that all 3 of those reports have in common and stress, and a lot of police departments across this country don't emphasize that one piece enough. It's officer wellness. All 3 reports mention it. So to bring this full circle, just over a year ago, we met with the Louisville Metro Police Foundation and Impetus for a Better Louisville. These 2 groups told us to think big on how we can support officers and improve policing, improve recruitment and retention, and generally invest in the individuals of this agency, not as police officers, but as people. Now, thanks to those 2 groups, those organizations, the professional work done every day by the hard-working men and women of LMPD, a new found partnership with the University of Louisville and their new president, our interim chief, Jackie Villarreal, our deputy chief, Paul Humphrey, over accountability and improvement, all these great people you see up here on stage, and of course, the mayor's office, 3 months into a new term, highlighting and investing and helping us become the new national model and standard and best practice for wellness across the country. So thank you all.
Thank you, Major.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Major Edelin. As I think you can tell, there's a lot of really important news that we're making today. We are taking action. We are taking action to invest in our officers. We're taking action to invest in our community safety, to work with the community to ensure that everyone in Louisville is safe, regardless of where they're located. So I'm very thrilled to be here today, and one final thanks to the Louisville Metro Police Foundation, to Impetus for a Better Louisville, for your support of making the LMPD Wellness Facility a reality. And thanks to our friends on Metro Council. We're joined here today by Metro Councilman Hudson, Metro Councilman Owen, who are both on Metro Council, and we really appreciate you all being here, and to continue to work together in partnership, both within Metro government and with partners outside of Metro government, to ensure Louisville's safety is all of our top priority. And with that, we're happy to take a few questions from the media that's here today.
How much of these bonuses, Chief, what's the current workforce, the staff? How many officers are you down?
The chief can answer that. I believe the total on the bonuses that's unallocated, Ken, is about $4.75 million. Is that correct? That's the total amount, but it will only be used as people are eligible for that, that come on. So it may or may not be fully used, but we would love to, because we have hundreds of vacancies throughout those 4 departments that we talked about.
Yes, sir. So we're currently 298 down, but our officers are still doing the work. They're showing up every day. They're passionate, they're involved, and they're dedicated. And so we're committed to not allowing the shortage to impact the quality of services that we're providing to our citizens. So thank you for that question. And so our recruitment efforts are still robust as we move forward to get the quality officers we need to join this force.
And while you're still up there, can you tell us about how this narcotics tip line is working? Who's going to staff that tip line? Where are those tips being from?
Okay. And so with the anonymous tip line, individuals are able to call, of course, and then they will provide the information needed in order for us to address. So that information will be monitored by a dedicated section within our department, and those calls will be retrieved, and then they'll be itemized as how they're coming in. But again, even with that anonymous tip line and that information being received, it will be thorough investigations being conducted for those actual tips that are coming in. We want to make sure, and we're going to validate that information that comes in and provide the best service within the community possible, because we understand that narcotics sold in our community is a quality of life issue. And we want to make sure that our citizens are understanding that we hear them, and we want them to be safe in their home. We want their children to be able to go out and play in their front yard and backyard. We want the community to understand that we've heard them, and this is why the creation of this tip line is now here today. So let me put emphasis on that was the previous administration. Now we have this administration. And within the course of last year, there was a decision made from the previous administration that KSP will actually conduct the investigations, and well, actually in 2020. And so we were moving in that vein. And so now we're here today. And being here today, LMPD, for this particular incident, is doing the investigation. And as we put in our statement, we wanted to make sure that we have received all significant actual statements from officers being involved in that incident. And I appreciate, and I want to speak to the community, I appreciate the community's patience and while we're doing the quality work and being very transparent. Some of the information that's been received and put out there lend to be a little bit jaded in that vein, but I'm truly committed in being transparent, and then that information will be revealed as quickly as possible. So that's why we have it here today. That was the previous administration, the 24-hour, and now we're here today.
Just one other thing, Isaiah, one other thing to add to that is that, as the chief mentioned, the policy that we inherited was not what you just described. It was a different policy, and that's what we were operating under when these 2 incidents happened. The chief and I and other members of her team, of my administration, we've already had conversations about evaluating this policy. We're going to continue to do that, and we will be very clear and communicate that with the community if and when this policy changes. But we are actively looking at changing this policy. We understand the community wants to see the body cam footage. In this incident and other incidents, we're working to get it as quickly as possible. In the case that you mentioned involving the juveniles, we expect that body camera footage to be released tomorrow, and we are evaluating the policy for how we move forward in the future.
Chief, you have talked several times about, and you hear Mayor talk, about how this is going to save the rights of LMPD. We know about the teacher shortage, we know about the officer shortage, you mentioned your position open right now. Could you talk about how these things, the wellness center, the HQ, the tip line, are really actually going to help bring people onto the force when so many agencies across the country are struggling to recruit officers?
Yeah, that's a very great question. As we continue to move forward with these initiatives and having a headquarters that will hopefully draw others to be interested in, I want to work for Louisville, I want to work for that city, and they're doing some great things. The Wellness Center, that's a marketing strategy for us, because they understand that not only are we expecting them to serve the community, but guess what? We are concerned about your mental, your spiritual, and your financial wellness. And so all of that is wrapped up into that. But it doesn't just stop with the officers. It extends to their family. We're concerned about their family, because if you get a great officer, guess what? That family gets a great husband, a great wife, sister, brother, aunt. So it rolls down. And so that's what we're going to be using for this, because we want quality people to join our force. And this is the vein in order to go in. We can never go back. This is being progressive, and I'm just grateful for all of the support that we have in order to make sure that Louisville is the best police agency in this country. Thank you. I'm going to let Brian, come on up.
To answer that shortly and efficiently, yes, that is the plan. It will be a few months as programming and equipment and things come in, of course. So we do have great people on contracted services who have been with our agency for a while. We do have a peer support team already. Those services have been utilized quite a bit. To put that into a number wouldn't be fair for me to do without the data in front of me. But the one thing we do know is that as we hire more people, as we make further investments, as we go into one building where all this is housed, we know that it helps break down that stigma of some of the things you're talking about. It'll show the support, it'll show the love, and then, take the narrative instead of just all this being in one facility. I think the biggest message here is there's so many people and groups that made this happen that weren't political, weren't tied in directly to, it's a whole community that's making this happen. That shows love. That shows the police and all the officers out there right now making the runs, how important they are. But we're going to have a lot of services available to anybody that is in need of those services within our ranks.
I wanted to open tomorrow.
On that note, I'll just real quickly in terms of timing. First, I know you didn't ask about this. I'll get to the headquarters in a second. On the Wellness Center building, that building is in really good condition, and so we expect mid-year, I believe. Is that about mid-year? Yeah, mid-year for the Wellness Center, because there's very little of additional work that needs to be done to have that ready and open. On the AT&T headquarters that will become LMPD's headquarters, the reason we're making this announcement today is because we want to get started right away. And the final plans for the entire plans for the building's renovation are not yet complete, but we know there is certain work that we can get started on right away, like the roof, like the electrical systems, like HVAC upgrades that have to happen to make this a truly centralized headquarters that can allow LMPD to operate in an improved fashion, really focused on implementing the reforms, the improvements, the training, provide the resources to officers and the team that we need. So the work's going to start in the coming months. We don't yet have a timetable on when it will open, but by doing this, I can assure you it will open quicker than if we had waited for the full plans to be totally finalized and construction started at that time. So our goal is to fast track it and get that going, because we know that's important not just to LMPD, but to the entire community. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day.